Yeah. I don't have a problem doing that. The destruction of the Black family um, has definitely taken its slow but methodical course over the last 100 years or so. But to be honest, fact based, 1865 till 2024. And the reason why I'm using the 1865s because we know about the ending of slavery. So let's go. Let's be, what's the word I was looking for? Let's make sure that we capture the fact that slavery did exist in the United States. It was not a lie. There's a lot of evidence left behind that slavery did happen to people who were either brought here or already on the land. So the other thing is, let's not forget that prior to 1868 or prior to 1875, African American, Black, Indigenous, Hebrew, Moor families were not allowed to actually function as any kind of family unit. They were um, often moved around, shipped around on purpose so that there wasn't any loyalty there within the family unit. There was no true structure. The woman was uh, forced to see negative things happen to her mate, which would make her not see him as a source of power, a source of comfort, a a protector, right? So and the exact opposite was happening for African American, Black, Indigenous, Hebrew, more males who were forced to see the women degraded and uh, just abused, right? For years, which would turn her from being like the mother, nurturer, comforter to what we see now, whereas African American or Black, Indigenous, Hebrew, more females are really built up to be whores. At the end of the day, there's a hoish mentality um, that we've definitely seen take off since. I'm just gonna pick a date. The 1990s with was it Two Live Crew, their songs, and then the whole upsurgence of dating strippers and making strippers into a wife, right? I know when I was in college in the 1990s, there was a lot of females, and this is not a denigration to anybody who is a stripper. Do your thing, boo boo, climb that pole. But this is about the 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 disassembling of the Black family, breaking it down, taking away the matriarchs and the patriarchs in the family, um, uh, allowing social service agencies to then dictate what the Black family should look like, not only outside of the home, but also inside of the home. And upsurgence in the Department of Children and Family Services, whatever they're called, or whatever city or state that you reside in, them coming in and doing these random checks to further break apart the Black family when they know that at the same time, white families were allowed to have the father in the home, and even though the mother was receiving some kind of state assistance. So there's been a concerted, systematic effort to break down the Black family, and I feel like that's where we are right now with 2024. So we went from the silent generation, right, the ones who gave birth to the baby boomers, but let's not act as though they were not married at 14 and 15 and 16 years of age, because many of them were. Okay, let's not act as though um, that the largest population to have teenage mothers was during the 1920s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. So let's not ignore those facts and or statistics, because a lot of times people like to say, well, Black mothers, Black teenage mothers was really high in the 1980s. True, but nowhere near the record of what you would have seen like 50, 60 years before that. So I just want to put that out there. That now we're just in a state where it's almost replicable. Like it's like a replicate. That's the word I was looking for, of what life was like during slavery times, because you have the Black male hopping around from female to female, procreating and creating a lot of different families, which is what we have with the Black family right now. A lot of blended families. He has children with other people, she has children with other people, they have children together. We also have a large portion of the 30-year-olds in America right now are married, but they're not staying married long. We're also seeing that Black families, or those who classify themselves as Black, are also getting married older. So they're not getting married anymore in their 20s. They're waiting to get married in their 30s when they're more financially. It's more financially feasible for them, a more of a financially sound decision. But there is also a very large spike in the divorce rate, especially with COVID hitting in 2020. More people got divorced during the COVID epidemic. Um, so I just wanted to say some of the mitigating factors which has brought um, the Black family to where it is right now, where the child calls mom Pam, and he calls grandma Mama. That's what I have. There's something wrong here, because I was able to log into YouTube, and the green box is still just around me. And the box switches between people who are talking. So that means that the box ain't switched. There's something wrong here. Yeah. See, now she's calling me to tell me that they can't hear you. No. Yeah, no, we can't hear you. It's out. Yeah, so there's no sound coming from you at all. Yeah, Kanisha just called me.
Do they hear me now?
Yes.
It's out. Still nothing.
No, I can hear you now in
You
my
hear me
headset.
now?
Yes, in my headset, yes.
Okay. Is everybody else here? Okay. All right. I don't know how much anybody heard, and I apologize for the technical difficulties. So I guess I'll start. I'm sorry because I'm hearing what you just got through saying now. It's a delay here. Um, all right, so let me start from the beginning. As you stated earlier, and I agree with a lot of what you said. It's been a lot of bad behavior amongst us. There's been a there's been systemic racism, and that played its part in it, and still continues to do that today. And so I have no pushback on that. But a lot of stuff that's going on within our community, which is especially within our households, is a lot of that goes on us. A lot of it. Now, as you stated earlier, about men having father many kids by many different women, and that is a problem. Can't deny that. That plays a major, major factor. But also because I'm for equal. If you're gonna talk about one side, we talk about everybody. So that being said, there are women who knew these men were married. There were women out here who knew they had significant others. There were women out here that knew they had multiple kids by multiple, and they still chose to procreate with these men. So again, I say it's a we situation. Yes, men they part in the state of what it is today. Women did also. And I'm not really interested in whose fault it is. I'm only interested in how do we fix it. And so the question now becomes, what do we do to fix it? How? What would be the first steps? I'm listening. I'm asking people that's listening right now. How do we fix? Let me know. Because I have I have my theories, and it might be a bit extreme for a lot of people, but it would eliminate the rate of single parent households that we have in the Black community. That marriage rate would definitely go up, and divorce rate would be zero. Let me try this on for size. I know I'm gonna get some pushback. I just want to see the reaction I get though. Hear me out. If I guess God knew what he was doing. If I could make the law, and my solution to solve this part of this problem, if you're out, since it was stated earlier that men have a lot of kids with a lot of women. All right, well, to one way to eliminate this problem, if you're out and if you happen to get anybody pregnant, and it is proven by DNA that it is your child, then congratulations, you just met your new wife. Or ladies, if you get pregnant by somebody and they prove by DNA that's the biological father, you just congratulations, you just met your new husband. And now I know women ain't gonna be mad. Well, why we got to marry? Well, you started a family with him, it wasn't a problem. So why not marry him? Because you've already started the family. So why not? That would eliminate all these single parents now. There wouldn't be no more single parents because you get pregnant and you got a husband now. So that would eliminate single parenthood. That would also, because if you enter into this marriage, you just married. It's just it. You work it out. No divorce. So if you got a baby mama, that's the wife. You with her. That's your baby daddy. You just stuck with him. That would eliminate the divorce rate. Now that would be zero because nobody can divorce. Simple. Unless again, it's to death do you part. Now I know it's probably the mortality rate in marriages will probably go up a lot. But for those who would think about killing your spouses, just know that the spouse or the boyfriend, girlfriend is generally the first suspect in a murder. So for those who ever thought about that. But this is my solution. This would eliminate a lot of stuff. Now, again, I would even admit that it's extreme. But we have maybe, just maybe, we need extreme measures to put a stop or at least slow this problem down. Because right now it's just running out of control. So what do y'all guys think? Y'all let me know. Give me some feedback. Ma'am? I mean, Vic.
Okay, well, I'm trying to see. I haven't seen anything so far on what it is that you've elucidated on. The I'm gonna pick at you here, Uncle Dre, because I said a whole bunch of stuff, but you focused on my statement about men having babies with multiple women. I wasn't saying that in a derogatory way at all towards men. I was saying that because of the things that have been put into place, we have the situation that the behaviors which were forced upon us were our men were forced to have sex with multiple women to produce workers is being played out now. And that's because it was forced upon us. Like there were things that were put into place within laws, right? Within society to push the Black family to be further apart instead of together. So,
agreed.
Huh?
Agreed. I agree with that.
So that's where that statement was coming from, because I know that we wanted to approach tonight with more things that can help keep the Black family together, and also what supports do Black men need. Now, I didn't have a whole lot to say because I'm a Black woman, and so don't you scratch your face like that for? I think I've proven over and over that I'm a woman with you. Okay. So my point though was this is your pedestal, kind of to sort of speak, to say, what do we as Black women need to do to support you, Black men? So you can't just shuffle the ball off into my court there. You got to come tonight with some solutions as to how Black women can help Black men. Now, I can give some examples, but then I don't want to put myself out there to be chopped up and get the little that I got last weekend because I somehow triggered you. You know, I was still digging from underneath that. Because, you know, if a woman says X, a man's going to turn around and say, nope, that's not it. So here's your platform to give us some guidance on what is it that a Black woman needs to do to help support the Black male. Because I feel like a lot of us don't know what the fuck that means or what it looks like anymore. Excuse me. I just, because, you know, we're walking around here trying to be his peace. No, he don't need peace. We're walking around here trying to graduate from school. No, he don't care about our education level. We're walking. So just let us know what it is that we need to do, because we want to know.
Do y'all really want to know? As Jack Nicholson would say, can you really, really handle truth? Because I give it to you if you want to hear it. If that's okay, all right. Well, all right. Here's what can women do to support Black men in the family dynamic. Well, actually, believe it or not, it's actually quite simple. Men are simple just by nature. First things first, if you ask any man about what they expect from women, just more times than not, loyalty, trust, respect. Not necessarily in that order, but if you ask most men, they'll tell you that's pretty much, though I'm fairly certain to say 2 of those 3 is probably going to come out their mouth, if not all 3, and some more stuff. Now, I don't have to go over the whole loyalty thing. I think that's kind of self-explanatory. We all know what that means. I think what the problem comes in at is trust and respect.
I don't think that you would be correct in not explaining it, because this is our platform, right? To explain things.
Right. And
I
go
because
ahead.
I
I'm
just
listening.
found that as a teacher, whenever I assumed or presumed that the kids understood something, I was wrong. So explain to us what loyalty. I'm being honest here. Okay, explain to us what loyalty looks like. Ladies, get out your pens.
Loyalty, simple. Loyalty is just being serving someone, being faithful, whether they are in your presence or they're not. Now, again, that means a lot of, I guess that would mean certain things to certain people. So let me put it to you the way my grandparents put it to us. Don't do nothing behind anybody's back that you wouldn't do in their face. It's just that plain and simple. If you know that you know that you're a flirtatious individual, why would you do it behind his back and not do it in his face? Why? Because you probably feel that either he gonna feel some type of way about it, or you just feel that that type of behavior is not right when you're in his presence, and you will be correct on that. Simple, just loyalty. But again, that's what anybody expects out of a relationship. That ain't nothing just exclusive to men. Everybody wants loyalty in a relationship. That goes without saying. But where men we see and we will make our most of our complaints about, it's again, it's just the trust and the respect aspect of it. And that's where the split, that's where it's really, really bad at. And ladies, let me say this to you. I have 4 daughters and they're all adults now. Have been adults for a long, long time now. Shout out to them if they watching me. Hey, babies. Find somebody who is good to you and your situation. Whether if you got kids or you don't have kids, find somebody first of all who treats you well, who respect you. No, I'm saying respect you, not do whatever you say, whenever you say, how you say. That's not respect. That's being a flunky. We're not talking about that. Find somebody that actually respects you. Number one, respect that man. Find somebody that you gonna respect. Now, here's the problem what comes with that. Now, dealing with the modern people, respect is based on what you have and what you make now, and that shouldn't be, because there are plenty of horrible people who got a lot of money, and there are a lot of broke people who are solid people, solid men. But it is tendencies that women generally don't respect anything that is at their level or below. I.e., if a woman is making 100 grand, if a guy steps and he's making 75, she won't respect him because he is not her, in her mind, that is not her equal. And women generally don't respect anything that is not of similar value or greater than them. It's the truth. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not dumping on women. You ask, what can we do? I'm telling you from the man's perspective and how the man thinks. This is what's up. Now, I'm not trying to change anybody's philosophy about who you want to date and how you want and what requirements you have for dating anybody. You're asking, and I'm just saying, respect, ladies, respect. It's not respect. Respect comes in a lot of forms, in a lot of ways. You're talking to somebody crazy and you cussing them out, you call them everything but the name that appears on their birth certificate, that's not respect. Mushing them in their face is not respect. Swinging on them like men swing on women is not respect. It's not. And more times than not, women, you come at men generally is verbal, because in a physical confrontation, more times than not, a woman would lose that fight most of the time. So we know that. So a woman's attack is always verbal. With that being said, you have to be careful, mindful, and I'm saying this to both sides, not just women, but since we said what women support, watch what you say, to, how you talk to people. Especially now, watch how you talk to people. I say that to anybody, that relationship or otherwise. Talk to people with respect. Give them respect because you don't know what people are going through. And something that you say could be that very thing that either send them over the edge or save their life. You just don't know. So at the bare minimum, just treat those men with respect. Because that's all we asking for. We're not perfect. We're not. But the last thing any man wants to have to listen to, especially in his own home, is just a bunch of craziness in their house. A man's home is his refuge. That's his place of peace. It's supposed to be his place of peace. So when he coming home, he's not trying to hear a bunch of rah, 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 yah, yah, yah. He's not. No different than anyone. He's not trying to hear that. He want to come relax, kick his feet up. If he drank, get a beer or liquor, whatever he's doing, watch a game, watch whatever, and then go to bed and get up and do it again tomorrow. It's what we ask. Find somebody that's willing to work with you, ladies. That's the big thing. Find somebody that's willing to work with you, not in front of you, not behind you, beside you. Because it's supposed to be a partnership at the end of the day, right? So that being said, find somebody that's with y'all on the same page and y'all willing to work at whatever goal it is y'all got. Do it together. Do it together. And as far as trust goes, again, self-explanatory, but I guess since you say don't assume, simple. Say what you mean what you say. Simple. You know, this stuff is, I think we make relationships a lot more complicated and harder than it really needs to be. Not saying that it's easy, but I think we kind of make it more complicated. And when I say we, I mean men and women. I think we make it a little bit more complicated than what it really has to be. And a lot of this is just due to people not wanting to do certain stuff anymore. That's just honest. Let's just be honest about it. If we were to go back 50 years before I was, 60 years then, before I was born, and it would take the regular middle class marriage and bring one from today, it would be different. You'll notice a lot of differences. One, probably because both parental units, if there are kids involved, probably both of them were working. That didn't exist 60 years ago like that. Different dynamic. It did. So the relationship was different. Generally, the man was the breadwinner back in those days, and the women who did, if they did work, they wasn't making as much as the man was. They was doing what they had to make ends meet, but they weren't making to the capacity that men were. Not back in those days. No. So that relationship is different than it is now. Now that we have both men and women in the workforce now, both work at 8, 9, 10-hour jobs, both coming home and have to deal with kids. It's just teamwork. Men will do anything and everything for you as long as he feels like he got your back, you got his. And this is universal amongst all men. We are strong on loyalty. Ridiculously strong on loyalty. High on respect and high on trust. These are the keys to most men. And I'm not saying anything that's revolutionary or shocking or anything. You can talk to any regular individual, and they'll tell you to say, if they're honest, they'll tell you the same thing. They'll tell you the same thing. We need to get back. I think what the problem is in our community is that the roles have changed so much, and we've just gotten so selfish. And I say we again, I mean both men and women, we've gotten selfish. To be honest about it, we've just gotten selfish. But that's off topic. To get back on topic, those are the three things most men look for in relationship, and most things that will help us build as far as the family unit. If we have the loyalty, if we have the trust, and we have the respect, in cohesion with moving in the same direction as your mate, then you should be having, then your relationship should be moving in the right direction. I ain't saying it's gonna be perfect. I ain't saying you're not gonna have problems. What I'm saying is you on the right path. At least the possibility and the probability of you having a successful relationship is a lot better than way we doing it right now. If that answers your question. I'm sorry, I ran a little long. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Just replaying some of the things that you mentioned specifically, and I'm just trying not to be snarky in my response because I think that the points, thank you very much, were very clear. You said loyalty. You spoke on loyalty because I did ask for you to to clarify that. You spoke on trust, and you also spoke on respect. And I, I was contemplating, I was questioning, I was pondering, I was doing a lot, whatever else comes down that word, visualizing, daydreaming. Um, do women show men loyalty? And I don't, and I'm not, and it's not my goal or motive, at least not overlying, maybe underlying subconsciously. Um, do Black women show Black men loyalty? I would say, yeah, they do. They ride that crap to the ground. They will come visit a man who's in jail every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and alternating Sundays to show that loyalty. Now, I'm not going to say that she may not have a sexual partner elsewhere, but she'll be there. She's already put him on her little pay thing. So if you have someone who's incarcerated every 2 weeks or every week, whatever your pay schedule is, you can automatically have that money put on their books. And she's going to do that. If she's going to meet a man who's in jail and put the money on his books and didn't know him from a can of paint outside of jail, but she met him in jail when she went with her friend to go see her friend's friend who was locked up. I feel that Black women have been the epitome, the standard of supporting a Black male in good and bad. There are more, on average, African American males who do not have a savings account, a checking account, can't go get a loan, cannot maintain a job for whatever reason, systematic, internal, whatever, external, whatever. And she's still there, holding him down, waiting for him to get a break that she can celebrate in with him. Respect. But I was wondering, when you're saying like loyalty, I was like, I think Black women should have been showing Black men loyalty since forever. Since forever. You don't see a bunch of us running off to be with other people. You don't see that because the Black woman is not the most highly desirable sexual partner or partner in relationships anyway in the world.
Now, when you say running off with other people, are you speaking of men of other races? Is that what you're referring to? I just want to
I'm
be clear.
referring to, I don't call people racist because we're all human. Well, some of us are human. Some of us are. But we're gonna just leave it for this plain third dimensional conversation. On average, African American, Black, Indigenous, Hebrew, Moor women are not getting married ever in their lifetime, especially if they want to marry a Black male. That is not true for the Black male. The Black male in his lifetime can be married 1, 2, or 3 times, and not even to someone who was in his ethnic group.
Now, let me add a
I'm not
caveat to that. What
saying
you say is very true, but let me add a
in a bad
caveat to
way.
that. That is partially due just by sheer number, because women outnumber men 2-1, as many as 10-1, depending on where you at geographically. Women outnumber men. So just by, and that's even true in the African American community. So just by pure number, there will be some women that will be left out because there's not enough men to go around. So they would almost have to explore other options. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not.
So
if we have 1,000 women and there's only 800 men, well, there's going to be 200 women that's going to be left unless they want to be the side piece.
Yes,
but they'll have to go and do whatever. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your point.
Yeah, but that wasn't my point. But I thank you for that, because to me, you're just helping what I'm saying. Because my statement was that Black women do prefer, and this is out there, this is imposed, this is, we pull up some of the stuff behind us, to help go along with this. But on average, Black women would prefer to be with a Black male, on average. We know that the population for Black males is dwindling for a variety of reasons, which I think just further goes to support what I was saying, that Black women would prefer, even though they know that the likelihood that they will get married to a Black man in their lifetime is dwindling, they still choose Black. Black men do not, on average, choose a Black woman as a spouse, because he has options, like that little sound effect. Okay, but I thought it was okay. Well, anyway, so I was like, going through the Rolodex. Now, come on, now that was a good sound. So anyway, that's all I was saying, is that that Black women would prefer to be with Black males, but it's not often reciprocated for a variety of reasons. But I do think that Black women, on average, do show loyalty to the man that shares the same genetic markers as us.
I would agree that most women, or most Black women, excuse me, I would agree most women do show loyalty. It's not every case, and I'm not saying all, nor if I had said all, then please allow me to correct, because I never said all. But and that's definitely not me trying to insinuate. But there are, again, let's just call it what it is, call space. There are sectors of women that are not loyal. There are sectors of men that's not loyal. There are sectors of women that's not trustworthy. There are sectors of men that's not trustworthy. There are sectors of men that don't respect, and there are sectors of women that don't respect. Now, no one can come out with an exact number as to who is who, so we can only say that there are some. But that some is enough to cause quite a few problems in our community, whatever that number may be. And like I said before, ladies, again, and gentlemen too, because I don't want to speak to the ladies, to the gentlemen too.
Yes,
first things first, let me give y'all some old man advice.
Jamal was on it, so you have support.
Let me give you some old man advice. If you got kids outside, you're not married, get with your baby mama, get with your baby father. And if y'all got problems, if y'all going through something, if y'all just can't stand each other, you hate each other guts, work it out. I'm not saying get together. I'm not saying rekindle a relationship. But get on a level of respect that y'all can have a conversation about the child and not be you a SOB, you are this, you are that, you are this, your daddy's this, your mama's that. Stop that. I'm talking to both sides. Get together. Since y'all found enough time to get along enough to procreate, then y'all should be able to find enough time to have a simple conversation. Simple. But that would be my first advice. Make things good with your baby parents, whomever that might be. Like I said, you don't have to get back with them, and you ain't got to be with them. You ain't got to be in no relationship with them. But you do have to have a level of respect respect for each other, because that is the parent of your child. And a lot of that stuff get missing. It goes missing because of mama mad for what the daddy did to her. Daddy mad for what mama did to her. And they're using the kid as a pawn. So if you're having problems with your significant other and y'all got kids together, make it right. Number one, that's first and foremost. I'm talking both sides. Make it right. Make it right. That's number one. Secondly, and I say this all, y'all hear me, if y'all listen to our podcast, y'all hear me say religiously, let's start treating each other a little bit better, please. And a lot of this stuff is just that. We treat each other so raggedy. It's a shame. We do. We treat each other so jacked up. So jacked up. We don't turn on the niceness unless we want something from somebody, or somebody who got a bunch of money, then all of a sudden now we cool. It's crazy. Everybody out here looking for the bag. Everybody trying to finesse somebody out their bag while they're trying to hold on to theirs. It's ridiculous. But getting back to the subject at hand, young people, if you got kids out there, like I said before, get with the parents and y'all get this stuff together. Stop being at war. You're supposed to be fighting with each other. You got a kid out there y'all trying to raise. So stop trying to hurt each other, because you ain't doing nothing but damaging your child. Relationships the same way. Respect. If she ain't respecting you, you ain't, and he ain't respecting her, then there's no relationship. Simple. Ain't no relationship. Ladies, just because a man asks you to do something is not a symbol of enslavement. Let's get that clear. It's not enslavement to do something for your man. It's not. They don't make a man weak to do something for his woman. Let's kill this foolishness, man. Really, it's no harm. No harm. Okay, just to give you a prime example, Beyonce came out with songs talking about women who run the world, girls. Put a ring on, all this stuff. And she married, but she advised all y'all single ladies to do what y'all do. But she married. And we all know who run the show in that relationship, obviously. So again, treat each other with respect. We treat each other, they're so raggedy. We need to treat each other better. Start respecting each other. Men, start respecting your women. Straight up. Start respecting your women. Ladies, start respecting these dudes. Let's start treating each other. Maybe we start doing a little better when we start treating each other a little bit better. But right now, as I stated last week, and I'm going to continue to say until I see some change, we continue to keep pointing fingers at each other, and that's not getting us anywhere. It's not. We can sit here all day till we're blue, and I'm already dark, till we purple, and talk about all the things that each other have done wrong. But at the end of the day, we all responsible for it. So since we're all responsible, how come we just can't find a solution for this stuff and quit trying to put it on each other? Quit putting it off on all men, quit putting it off on all women. Because it's not that way. We equally screwing up, all of us. We all screwing it up. Each and every day, we all dropping the ball. And the people that's paying the price are these kids. And then we wonder with a straight face why these kids are coming up with all these issues and acting out of their head. Because they're coming up in dysfunction, in a dysfunctional relationship, a dysfunctional family. And can we stop this? Well, I was raised in a single home, a parent home, and I turned out all right. That's you. If you truly want the best for your child, then you realize that the best thing for your child is to have two parents in their life. If you truly want what's best for your kid. But that's the lie that's always being told. I want the best, but no, really what you want is what's best for you. What situation you can deal with, what situation you can handle. It's simple. Like I said, either we come together, either we're going to come together or we're going to fall together. Because that's what is going to happen. At the rate we're going right now, I wouldn't be surprised that in 100 years we're extinct. Because birth rates have fallen off significantly in the 2000s. Marriage rate is dropped off significantly. Excuse me, the heterosexual marriage is not the gay. We'll get off. That's something else. The heterosexual marriage is dropping off significantly. The divorce rate is still high. 56%, I think, is the last time I looked at it. We're falling apart, and we still content on sitting here blaming on each other. And that's what irritates me so. I could care less about outside kids and being called a garden tool and all this kind of stuff, because at the end of the day, man, it's all reflective on us. It's why we behind on everything. We can't never have anything because we never ever stand in unison unless it's some bad stuff. When somebody get killed by the police, everybody and their daddy, we united then when somebody get killed. We united when somebody do us wrong. We united with somebody not giving us something. But we go back to our homes, our neighborhoods, and our houses and tear each other apart. This ain't systemic racism, baby. This is us. This ain't misogynistic. This is us. We need to stop.
But those things are learned. Those things, a lot of those behaviors are learned. They are learned, they are practiced, and they are drilled into our young males. I mean, just look at how far we've dwindled. Just hip hop is 50 years old. Hip hop's 50 years old. Okay, great. How did it push us? How did it unite us? How did it educate us? How did it help free our spirits? It did not. Neither did rap. But there are things that are pushed on us, right? These mindsets, these mentalities. I wanted to go back to something that you said. Respect men, women respect men based off of tangible goods or items. That's something that I keep hearing. I know that you've said that before, and I know that there are women out there who act like that, but they're not. That's not respect that they're showing those men. That's greed. That's lust. That's, I want that shiny whatever it is to wear. They don't respect those men. They want what those men have, the money or the power or the fame. You cannot tell me on any given Sunday that Melania Trump was respecting Donald Trump. She point blank told the man, I'm not coming to the White House. I'm not going there. I'm not sleeping somewhere that's beneath me. But he did stay there because that's his job. He was supposed to live there. She doesn't care about any of that. That lady was like, I want to sit at home on my gold toilet. Okay. And I don't blame her. I have no qualms with that. If you don't want to go somewhere that's beneath you, baby, don't go. Okay. But she doesn't respect him. A lot of them don't respect their husbands just because they're rich. They just want what they know that they can get. I think that men should change that mentality too. She's with me because of what I have. No, she's with you because she likes you. You know, and then they always want to run the one whatever through the gamut, and that be the one that does the most damage financially to most men when they get divorced. You know, but you said loyalty. I was just giving my feedback. I think that Black women are very loyal to their men. Some probably to a fault. You know,
I would agree.
You
so
said
most,
respect.
I would say I would even go as far as say most.
You know, when you say respect, I was kind of, you know, because I think it very much is two-way. It's reciprocated. It's given and not received on one or the other. Sometimes both. Sometimes neither one of them respect each other. And we see lots of instances of that. Some I've engaged in where you're having these public displays of, you know, crap outside in the street, right? I was thinking maybe Black women can support Black men by getting them to therapy, or at least suggesting the therapy, because we're not therapists. We're not punching bags. You know, we're not garbage dumps for you to come and trash just because you're having a bad day. And
Right.
I'm not saying that women don't do that to men. I'm just saying that I think that respect is a mutual thing, and it's not necessarily something that women just are not giving to men. I think it's just not reciprocated between either one. And people often show disrespect when they don't feel respected, when they feel slighted, when they feel picked apart, when they feel overlooked, right? When they feel like there are some things that they wanted to have done that's just not being done. So they internalize that as I want to say like being disrespected. Maybe the other person's just short sighted. But my other point was, so you said respect, loyalty, and then you said something about trust. Can you delve into the trust for me, please?
Trust.
Mhm.
Trust, that's a funny thing about that because a lot of people, both men and women, a lot of people are in relationships or in marriages right now and they don't trust the other person they with right now. As I'm talking, there are some people right now in a relationship and they couldn't trust that person as far as they can spit. My first question is why in the world you in that kind of relationship in the first place? That would be the first question to come out. But you have to at some point, ladies, and I think I guess I might be jaded in this one because I'm a guy and I only date women. So, but and so I find it more so women than it is men in this one. But it's not to say that men don't do it too. But trusting people is hard for a lot of folks, a lot of people, especially for those who've gotten burned in a relationship before. I'm not talking about the venereal disease burnout. Somebody who's gotten their heart broken. It's hard. It's hard. But I say this again, and I've heard it all the time. Well, it's hard because I trusted this person and this happened. I trusted that person and this happened. I trust that person and this happened. And I understand that. It's called life. It's called relationship. And that's gonna happen. You're gonna get your heart broke. I can't think of nobody. I don't know nobody that I know personally that's only dated one person in their life. I don't know of any. So, but you gonna date and relationships are gonna end. People are gonna do stuff to you, but you can't hold the next person accountable for what somebody else did. And a lot of people have that problem. And I'm not again, it's not exclusively just to women. Men, I know men do this too. But you bring, as they say, you bringing the baggage in from past craziness, and you bringing it to them. Not fair, number one, and it's not right because you're punishing them for something they have nothing to do with. So that being said, if you can't trust is something that you have some trust you have to give off the bat because you don't know them. You have to give them benefit of the doubt. But if they showing you that they're not trustworthy, then why are you dealing with them? And again, I don't care if it's man or woman. If they're not showing you they can be trusted, granted, some people make mistakes and we can let some stuff go. But if they're consistently betraying your trust, what else needs to be said after that? I mean, and again, that's universal. That goes to anybody. If you're not a trustworthy person, if you keep stabbing people in the back, what you think is gonna happen? It only makes sense to me. But you have to exhibit it. That's something that's built up over time. You get some off the top, but the intimate trust is built up over time. That takes work. And again, all relationships take work. And I think that's another problem. Part of it is that a lot of people think that you in a relationship, you're not supposed to have any problems. Money's supposed to be good and flowing. Y'all supposed to be so in love with each other. and y'all taking vacations every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You're going taking a private jet down to the Bahamas and all this kind of stuff. This is not real. Look, you stupid. This is not. This is not real life, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. That's not real. That's not real life. There's only a few select people that can live that lifestyle. The rest of us, let me say this, and I'm about to really make somebody mad, which I always do. 99.9% of people on this planet, men and women, are just average, ordinary, regular, run-of-the-mill people. 99% of us. That 1% of the extraordinary is just the 1%. That's what makes them extraordinary, because it's rare. If everybody was extraordinary, then it wouldn't be extraordinary no more, now would it? But we seem to think of ourselves that we are these people that we are not. We are these CEOs, or we are these big boss shot callers and all this stuff. And that's not really the life that we lead. We living in this fake fantasy world. You got this image in your mind of how you really are, how you want your life to be, and it's not that. It's not that. It's not that. Y'all want to have the corporate job. You want the guy that look like Boris Kodjoe or The Rock or whatever. You want to have a 6-7-figure income, live in the biggest house with 2 kids, and everything be cool. And those are people who actually really have that lifestyle, and they have problems too. Life is life. No relationship, every relationship is gonna have its ups and downs. That's just relationship. People have gotten so lazy and so sorry, so selfish, they don't want to go through nothing. You talk to anybody, if you know of any, talk to anybody who's been married for 15, 20, 25, 30 years, and they can tell you some stories about, oh, it was a stretch there. I didn't think we were gonna make it. It was a stretch. I don't know, but it was touch and go for a minute there. They'll tell you. They'll tell you. But 3-4 decades later, they still together. Love just as strong now as it was way back when they first got together. That didn't mean they didn't have hard times. That didn't mean their relationship wasn't strained. That just mean they decided to work together. That's the problem right there. We don't want to work together. Whenever it start going to the left, oh, well, this ain't gonna work. Let me go save myself. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave. At least I won't be broke. That's the mentality most of us got. Just in case this goes to the left, then I'm gonna be okay. But then why are you getting into this situation, this relationship, if you're waiting for Katrina to hit? We get ourselves in these relationships that makes absolutely positively no sense to us. And even we know it don't make sense, but we in it anyway. And it's a lot of facets for that. Whether they don't want to be alone, or whether they just in love with these people, or they just want to try to change it, whatever the situations is. But we find ourselves in a lot of bad situations when we know it's not a good situation. We know it's a bad situation, but we stay in it anyway. And that's a problem that we need to start addressing. Why are we in these toxic, crazy relationships? Why? Why does it take somebody blackening your eye or breaking your jaw to get you to understand that you don't need to be in that relationship? Why does it take somebody putting sugar in your tank or tearing up your clothes to see that you maybe don't want to deal with that person? Why does it take somebody hiding in the bush watching you come in and out your home? But we go through this. And again, it's a lot of facets to that. But I say again, we need to start addressing that, because a lot of this stuff is just abnormal, dysfunctional behavior. But we don't recognize that because we see ourselves in a certain light. We don't ever want to critique ourselves. Nobody wants to take criticism. We say something about somebody, everybody gets offended. And that's all, again, universal, men and women. We say something about them, they get mad. We have to treat each other. Go back to the original. We have to treat each other better. Get out this fantasy land about who you are. If you know me, have heard me a couple of times, you know I keep saying, be real with yourself. Be true to who you are, who you really are. A lot of you think y'all good people when you're not. A lot of you think you're better than what you really are. A lot of you think more of yourself than what you really should be. A lot of you need to humble yourself because you may be just a little too far on that top tier. But whatever the issue is, Be real with yourself, because again, if you're not real with you, relationship ain't gonna work. Marriage is not gonna work. Being a parent not gonna work, because you live in a lie. And I am firm believer that anything built off a lie cannot, shall not, and will not stand. It can't. It won't. And again, I ran long. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's not that at all. It's been a long day, and just I just realized it. Exactly how long I've been up. The hmm,
Hello?
huh?
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I just realized that it's been a long day. The Where do I start? So I'm gonna go back to counseling. Um, Shawnee said on in the comments, she's like, she did suggest, for them to go to counseling. I think that one thing that the millennials have over and the new millennials have over Generation X is that they're more willing and able to go to counseling, and they will find it. They'll do marriage counseling for the 6 months or however long that the ministers require you to do it. I think that if more people actually went through that process, um, they would know how to properly handle something. I was going to ask you to pull up because I don't know what video you had in the background to play for this tonight, but I was going to ask you to pull up the video that, or one of the videos that you showed me in the beginning of our relationship from Tony. I mean, how do you sit there and say to people, well, you need this, this, and this? I'm honest with my stuff. I feel like, we've been together, it's going on 8 years. We've been through some stuff in 8 years. And, you know, um, people change habits, change jobs. This is both of us, Um, and now we're now we're doing a podcast. So I don't even something that was necessarily in the trajectory of this relationship. It was I was gonna work and retire, and you were gonna work and retire, and we were gonna, have well, especially at that time, your grandkids, and then like, maybe my mine, swooshed off, something in my direction. Um and be okay with that, bike riding down the lakefront. That's where we were just a few short years ago. And now we're doing a podcast that will at some point reach around the nation, to be exact. But my point was that how can you queue up one of those videos for Tony so we can give the audience something to look at? Because I think it was really important when he said the one that sticks out to me the most is when he said his wife, he realized that men and women speak differently. So he said, like, he asked his wife, how was her day? He said, by the time she finishes, she's told me everything that happened from the moment that she woke up until the moment that okay, uh, from the moment that she woke up till the moment that she came back. She's given him how fast the wind was blowing, or, just minute details. What he noticed was when it came to her asking him, how his day was, he was like, it's okay. And so she was kind of like, well, what do you mean it's okay? And he was like, well, it was okay. And she's like, well, what happened when you got there? And I don't know if you remember this video or not, because I'm kind of adding a little bit more to it, but I understood how the conversation went. Um, he was like, well, I didn't really feel that men don't really feel it necessary to give explicit details. And he said, when men do not give explicit details to women, they think that they're hiding something, because women speak with explicit details and men do not. So we want to know, when you left the house, and this is something that I felt like we we had to get to a certain point, and I think I'm still struggling. Like, okay, you going downstairs? Yeah, I'm going downstairs. Okay, well, how long you think you're gonna be down there? And then you're like, kind of like, well, I don't. I mean, is there a time limit on when I can smoke? And I'm like, well, there's no time limit for you to smoke your cigarette. Like, like, and I'm taking like all of these extra things into consideration when I'm responding to you, right? Like, well, did he leave? How many times did he leave the house today? And da da da. Maybe he wants to sit downstairs for a couple. I don't know. I was just wondering how long you're going to be gone. And yes, I'm sitting there thinking of every single thing that you're going to be doing for the 20 minutes that you're gone, right? Or the 30 minutes that you're gone. I don't think that men know or care, you know. Well, she went to the grocery store 30 minutes ago, because you gonna know that at some point she's gonna come back. So you're not calling and texting, you know, to remind us that the milk is, on the left side of the grocery store in the back, you know, and women do that. So I was just thinking that part of the problem, I said all that to say this one sentence. I think part of the problem is just that men and women really communicate differently.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, they do. Absolutely. And if I may piggyback, and this is to the young people that's not married, and if you are
You
married,
can get on the pig
that's in
and
a
the
marriage.
goat and the sheep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I said you can get on the pig, the goat, and the sheep at this point, because
Oh,
I think it's all relative.
uh, to my young people, I can't stress how important it is. And I know you hear this as a cliche, but it's actually really the truth. Communication, communication, communication. Don't expect your significant other to read your mind. Don't don't expect your significant other to just know without saying exactly what it is that's on your mind, what mood you in, or whatever. Talk to each other. Don't sit back and, well, he been with me, he's supposed to know. No. If something on your mind, say it. Speak it. Now, having said that, again, like I said, keep it respectful. If it's, you have an issue or a problem with somebody, keep it on a respectful level. But by all means, communicate. If you got any issue, communicate that. That's a lot of stuff that goes on is just simple because people feel like they don't have to explain themselves to nobody. And I get it, but I'm sorry, when you married, well, just you ain't got to be married with this. Just being an adult, you gonna answer to somebody. I know that's gonna make a lot of folks mad. I already feel the heat coming, but you gonna answer. You always answer to somebody from from the moment you're born to the time you leave this planet. You gonna answer to somebody. This is a fact of life. Sorry, gentlemen. Sorry, ladies, but this is the truth. You're a child, you answer to your parents. You get grown, you have a job, you got a boss. You answer to your boss, or you answer to your company. If you own your own business, you answer to your customers or the people that you offer your services to. But you always answer to somebody. So this notion that I don't talk, I don't have to answer to nobody, I'm wrong. No, that's not true. That's not true. It's not true at all. And we need to leave that mentality where it's at. And plus, there's nothing wrong with sitting back communicating with your spouse or your significant other. Well, hey, I'm getting ready to run out with the guys. I'm gonna be gone, Mobile, in this area for a couple of hours. I'll be back. And if anything comes up, I'll call. That don't make you a lame. That don't make you a simp. That don't make you vagina whooped. It don't make you nothing. What it makes you is a responsible husband, because you're communicating to your wife where you're at, who you with. So therefore, if anything goes to the left, and it's not about control or being nosy. If anything goes to the left, at least she can say, well, the last thing he told me was he was in this area. Start over here. That's it. But a lot of people look at it as, oh, you trying to keep shackles on me, or you trying to control me, or you trying to tell me what I can do. Just not that. You have to let people, especially with ladies, you have to let people know, because ladies just have a tendency to disappear, especially where I live in. Ladies disappear quite often. So it would be advantageous to you to let somebody know your whereabouts, just in case, again, if something, God forbid, if something goes to the left, somebody can at least can point the finger to start where she said she was going to be here. Start over there. But communication, we don't, that's probably the number one killer outside of infidelity in relationships and marriage is just communication. Because I said, like I stated before, we talk to each other so crazy now and then expect other people to just to take it. And to me, that's a lot of where the problem starts from. Just speaking with respect, communicating, and saying what's on your mind without necessarily it being over the top and having to cuss people out. Shouldn't have to be an all-out war just to get a point across.
Do you think you can bring up that video?
I'm sorry?
Do you think you can bring up that video?
I ain't trying to trace nothing. We've gotten this far without incident. We'll work on that after the show.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Now I'm understanding what you were throwing down.
All right.
Okay. But my point was, I think that, in fact, I know men and women communicate differently, and what they hear or what they stress or what they find to be the most important thing that is coming out of your mouth, that thing from Chris Tucker will never leave me. It's just not the same. So that's why we have a lot of those issues. I am still going to say that, and I'm going to just drive this home, hit this nail with this hammer. Women do not respect men just because they have a lot of things, and the younger generation should understand that. I think it also should be stated that women and men stayed together back in the day because, well, they didn't have really any other choice, just for safety purposes. That parlays into the statement that you're making. So the millennials and the new millennials don't understand the stress and the havoc that we grew up under. Child Atlanta murders. We had people disappearing out where I was living at. Like, people were disappearing. And the fact that we come from a situation that even now in this present day, you can go walk down the street, right? What your intentions are to go to the store and get you some milk, and nobody ever sees you again.
Mm-hmm.
You disappear. I know I was just sharing on my Facebook page, on the Cypher Flower Facebook page, roughly 7 people from Chicago who went missing last week. Like one per day. They walked outside and nobody ever seen them again. So I feel that communication is key. I think it's okay for you to share your location. And it's not because you're trying to be over nosy, but you just need to know whether or not that little dot moves again. Because people come up missing every day.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. And so I say, I mean, that's the notion. People think, well, you know, that's, and I can say this firmly, especially on the men's side, because being a guy, you know, it's like, well, oh, you got to call and check in with you. Yes. Because at the end of the day, I got to go home to it. Y'all dudes going to where y'all live at. I have to go home to it. So quite naturally, yeah, I'm going to make sure things at the house is okay, period. And that's a man's order. Always make sure, young men, understand this. If you don't know, you're hearing it from me first. Make sure at all times, you make sure above any and everything that your home life and your home is straight. And when I mean straight, I mean that the wife is okay, the kids is okay, the bills is all right, the dog's all right. Before you venture off to go do anything. If there's a problem going on between you and the missus, you have to tell the boy, look, I get up with y'all. Let me go work. Let me go talk to her, see what's going on. That comes first. People don't look at it like that. Young ladies, if you got a problem going on with your husband, just ain't the time to be going on the girls' trip. You need to be finding out what's going on in your house. Simple. Spouse comes first before any of them. We've gotten away from that now. We just gotten away from it. We put everything in front of the people that we not supposed to do. And we've been doing it for too long. We've
There
been
are
doing it for way
people,
too long. Oh, I'm sorry,
sorry,
go ahead.
there are people who also don't understand, and I'm just going to put that into this, my little 2 cents,
Didn't understand what?
that it's God, the wife and the husband, the spouse, the team, and then the children, and then everybody else. I will say that sometimes you're going to have to explain, women, you're going to have to explain, some men, to your parents. So another aspect of this that we did not include, that I did not include in my prelim, my prologue, my preface. um, but I'm sorry. Okay, is that parents feeling that they come before your significant other or your husband or your spouse? That's an issue. That
Oh boy.
parents can be a
Yikes.
problem
Yes,
in
Lord, they
the
can.
division of a couple. Now there's two sides to that. One of them is, don't tell your parents everything about your relationship, because they're going to internalize it and they're going to hold it against your significant other. So keep some of that stuff to your friends, or if you follow me on any of my social media, tell your spirits, because they're the ones who are going to help you. Right? Tell God. Now, if it's a situation where you are being physically abused, of course you should tell other humans, okay, as well as your spirits. But you got to watch what you say to your parents, even in jest. Even if it's like, oh, last night so and so took all the cover, they're gonna sit there and tell you how that person is just this terrible individual, and that's not even where you were going with that. But that information now has been planted in your ear. And so once that information's been planted in your ear from a trust, from an authority figure that you trust, an authority figure that you have respect for, all of a sudden, every single time your mate or your spouse turns over in the bed and takes the cover, you're going to now internalize that into some kind of direct confrontational fight. And then 5 months from now you're shaking your person, and you guys are having this tete-a-tete, this usurping of authority in your bedroom at 2 o'clock in the morning, because you're angry that so and so turned over and took the cover. And all of that stems from you listening to something, a seed that was planted by your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your aunt, or your uncle, because you respect them, and you want to make sure you're always acknowledging them, right? So, and the things that they are helping you or guiding you to, and it can definitely become a problem.
In-laws. Yeah, I know about them very well. They could be something. Let me say this to the people, to my young people. If you are married, you're in a relationship, and because you know your parents. It's up to you. It's not up to your significant other. It's not up to your spouse to put your parents in their prospective places. That's your job to do that. Now, if it push comes to shove and your spouse has to put them in the place, then they got to do what they have to do at the end of the day. But before it gets to that point, you need to put your parents in their place and let them understand that the pecking order done changed. It's no longer, mama and everybody else. Now it's wife and the kids, then mama and everybody else, or father and everybody else. But but that's something and that's a whole nother that's a whole nother show. Well, I guess we'll get into it. We'll put on the slate for one day. But there is a problem. We have too many parents that's really, really too involved in their kids' relationship and lives, and it's causing problems because now they're in their son, daughter's ear, telling them all type of bad stuff about their spouse. Oh, he's probably this or she's probably that. just going off of the drama and trauma they had in their life. The dudes and the men and the women they were dealing with and put all the drama off on them. Now they passing it down to the child. So you have to be careful about it. Again, you have to put parents. I'm not saying be disrespectful to your parent. What I am saying, you do have to let them know, mama, daddy, this is my husband. We trying to make this work. So I know y'all love me. Y'all just want the best. But at the end of the day, me and him got to figure this thing out. Me and him, if he say this is what we gonna do, then this is just how we got to do it. No disrespect. But it takes that child to draw that line. And a lot of kids won't do that. And again, I understand because it's hard. It puts you in a bad spot. You have to choose between the person you're supposed to love the rest of your life and the person you've been loving all of your life. That's not an easy decision to make. But unfortunately, if it comes to that, if it has to be made, then biblically, I have to say, then it should be the spouse. But a lot of times it don't end up like that. A lot of times they'll take the side of the parent. Which brings me to another point. If there is animosity between the in-laws and your spouse, stop telling your mama, stop telling your daddy stuff about what's going on in your relationship. Stop. Stop telling them every time y'all have a fight, you go run and you'll tell your parents, oh, he did this, he did this, he did this. Stop telling them every time there's a disagreement, you go run and tell your parents, he did this, he did this, he did that. And then get mad with everybody when they're looking at your husband or your wife sideways at the family reunion. You don't went into all that because all they've heard is bad stuff. All they heard is all the complaints that he's done, all the mess he don't create it. And then he comes, so then we get around the family, nobody likes him. You wonder why everybody treating him like that or her like that. So please, and if there's any parents out there that's living vicariously through your kids' life, let me tell you this: get out your kids' life. Period. Just stay out of it. Let them do it. They grown. Let these kids do what they got to do, and let them solve their own problems, their own relationship. It's good to be there for support, but it's their job. It's their marriage and their relationship. So please, stay out of it. Don't involve yourself, or don't get too involved in these kids' life. They have to learn. They have to learn. They have to solve their own problems. Parents are not going to be here always, and it's a shame that we have grown people out here that still seriously dependent on their parents. I know, and this is no lie, no exaggeration. I know people who are in their 50s still living at home with their parents, believe it or not, at 50. To each their own. But parents, grandparents, that'd be us. Let these kids live their life. They're going to make mistakes. We anticipate that, but they have to learn. They have to learn. We can't hold their hand and guide them through everything. Some stuff they just have to learn for themselves. So let these young people do just that. Let them learn. Young people, start respecting. First of all, start respecting your elders. Number one, start respecting your elders, because trust me, we don't live the life y'all trying to live. We don't been there and done that more times than not. So please start showing us a little grace. That's all I'm asking for, just a little grace. Because when we talking to y'all, we talking from the heart. We telling you stuff that we know. We ain't telling you what we heard. We telling you what we know. Because we want y'all to be better than us. And the way it's shaping up right now, that ain't too hard. So it is half past the hour. Anything else you want to speak on? You want to wrap up? Okay, all right.
No,
well,
just that on Wednesday, we'll be back here to duke it out. So you are very much welcome, because this was that version of, so that remember we're talking about the Black family and how Black men need to be supported, right? Well, Wednesday, it's my turn. And how
it's what?
my turn to speak about how Black women need to be supported. Well, was an interesting eye roll.
What?
That was an interesting eye roll.
Oh, no. I was anticipating that. I thought, well, that show tomorrow is for something else. But okay. All right, we'll do.
No, Wednesday.
No. We got something to do tomorrow. I have a class tomorrow, remember? Oh my God. Really? How you
Have
gonna
to
book me for
advertise.
something you don't even remember?
No. I didn't advertise for it. That's the issue.
Oh, anyway, so I have that.
No, so but yeah,
Back to the
so
people. We said all over
okay.
conversation. Back to the people. Wednesday,
Wait,
everybody's
hold
already
on.
heard. Wednesday, we're gonna do the women, the ladies,
Yes.
and what the men can do to support the ladies in this struggle. On Monday of next week, we are going to dive into Black businesses. We are going to talk about the state of the small Black businessman in the African American community. How can we support? How can we get better as far as business and entrepreneurship? So I urge all you, if you have a business, please tune in because we're gonna shout out all the Black businesses. We want everybody, all Black businesses to be known. So if you're a business owner, please drop the name of your business, the services or the goods that you sell or you render, and we will shout them out on the show. And I also encourage all your CEOs and all you business owners, please come in, step and sit down for the conversation and talk with us and give us some of your insight, some of your knowledge, some of the things that you've been going through, some of the things you experienced, and how you feel that Black businesses can do better, and how can the community grow as far as business wise and entrepreneurship, how we can grow into the mega community that we're supposed to be right now. So with that, so on Monday, that will be on Monday, we're doing Black businesses. So if you're a Black business owner, please come on in and talk with us. If you know anybody that's a Black business owner and you know the name of their businesses and what they do, please email me or send a link or drop the name in the link below or in the chat below. And like I said, Monday, we're definitely going to shout out all Black businesses. I'm going to try to get as many entrepreneurs to speak on this subject as possible. I got 7 days, so we'll see what happens with that. But that's going to be on Monday. So that's going to be a show. So please please check us out for that. Please hit the like and subscribe button as normal. Please forgive us. Again, show us some grace. I know it was raggedy in the beginning, so please show us some grace on that. We're still trying to figure some things out. But we'll get better. Trust me, we'll get better on it. So with that being said, Vic, you got anything?
Yes, I think that we're doing a phenomenal job. We literally went from working full-time job to switching over to running a podcast. Boom. Like, I think I look, okay, just the two of us sitting together, just trying to get the podcast to the YouTube live. I felt freaking amazing. I don't know what I don't care what anybody thinks. I think that we have done a very amazing job to move from one mindset to another mindset. I think we've grown spiritually, personally, and emotionally. So I did wanted to plug that you will be teaching a class. Okay, I didn't advertise for it, but you will be teaching a class. And it's gonna. Which one were you starting off with, football or basketball?
I'm to my understanding is just to cover the basics of sports betting. But right now, being as football is out of season right now, more than likely probably be basketball.
Okay, so to make sure that people understand the sport itself, because you cannot um, make accurate decisions, right? Or try to do accurate projections if you don't understand the sport. If you don't know the difference between a quarterback, a running back, a fullback, a linebacker.
Yeah, true. What she's speaking of, I'll be teaching a course about just giving the basics of sports betting and sports gambling and whatnot. And just going over basic terminology, the basic bets, different types of bets, just opening up the option, basic betting strategies, things that tips that I use with my own sports betting stuff, just to give people, for those who are the casual sports bettors, so give them some knowledge of exactly what to do, how to do it, and they have a better chance of winning as opposed to just giving your money away. And I'll probably have a little something for those novice and those intermediate sports bettors. I have stuff for you too. So that's supposed to start tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't advertise for that, so we'd have to kick it back to next week so I could.
Okay, well that is on the way. So if you're interested in that, please get in contact with Miss Cipher Flower and give out the information, and we'll definitely get that started on Monday. So with that, let me say to my people, I thank you once again for coming in and sitting back and listening to me rant and rave and act a fool as I usually do. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. I do. And I appreciate those who've been watching and following me. I appreciate you. Trust me, it's not just talk. I really do appreciate everything you guys have done thus far. I appreciate it. So until Wednesday, we'll see you guys later. One love.